Hello, I'm Simon. Welcome back to the workshop and Happy New Year. Now in this video I thought I would have a go at tidying up the workshop, doing some maintenance and just reflecting back a little bit on what I've done last year and my plans for this year. So let's get tinkering. Now while I'm tidying up, I've been reflecting on last year. I made about 50 videos, and what with setting up the shots, focusing, editing, etc., I've put in about 1,000 hours of effort into the channel. The channel is monetized, and for those of you who are interested, it works out that I get from YouTube about 25 times less per hour than the UK national minimum wage. So this is very much a hobby, and because of this, I'm not chasing trends, but doing what interests me. I know this may seem a little selfish, but I hope you understand, for me to continue to be interested in making content, the content has to continue to reflect my interests. And hopefully there is enough of an overlap with your interests to keep you watching. Subs, likes, shares and comments are really what keep me making these videos. So if you like something or just have something to say, please let me know in the comments. 10 seconds from you in exchange for the 3 million seconds a year from me doesn't seem like a bad deal. My newest machine is the mini lathe. I can't wait to start using it. My intention isn't to become a machinist, but to use the lathe for jobs that my other tools simply can't perform. So there will be some videos where you can join me as I learn to use this tool. I'm looking forward to lots of advice in the comments. One of the projects I'm contemplating for next year is to build another card box. Now the first one I made with some pine that I ripped down to size. It's about 5mm, 1/4 of an inch thick. I told a friend about that and he said, oh, you should try making it out of this. Now this is 2mm thick. That's, I don't know, about 1/8 of an inch maybe it's smaller than that, and it's used for putting marquetry on floors, which I'm told is called parquetry. Anyway, this wood is a little bit warped, but I think it's usable, and I'm going to try and flatten it out a little, and when I get the enthusiasm for it, I'm going to make a box that will hold 2 packs of cards and 5 dice. Another of those projects that I'm thinking about doing next year is making a new one of these bolts. You can see that it's not a standard bolt, it's anything but standard, and it only fits in the crown guard in one direction. And if I want to put the handle to lock the crown guard on the left of the blade rather than on the right where it gets in the way, I need to manufacture one of these that's very similar but will allow me to put the handle on the other side. So I need to design that, keeping in mind all these shapes and things that this thing has got, and then see if I can make something that'll actually work so that I can put the handle on the opposite side. You'd think you'd just better flip it round, but you can't. Now the blade on my table saw hasn't been cutting so cleanly recently, and I think it's because it's dirty. I think here you can see there's crud has built up on the sides, so one of the things I'm going to do is give it a clean and see if that makes a difference. It's not Tizer, it's not honey, and it's not beer. It's something called CitraClean, which is a degreaser. Now when I've seen people do this before, they've always used a washing detergent, but I thought I'd try the degreaser and see if that works. It seems to me that the sap is very similar to a waxy grease, and therefore I think the degreaser will work better. But if it doesn't work, then I'll change and use some washing detergent instead. I found the best approach was to coat all the teeth on both sides with the degreasant and let it soak in for a little while, and then agitate it with my wife's toothbrush. Now if you're going to use a kitchen scouring sponge, don't get caught like I did. Now it's almost impossible to get the lighting right to show you how clean these now are, but hopefully this gives you some idea. Now I'm not sure if this is a good idea or not, but the kerf of the blade is wider than the actual blade, so I don't think it'll make any difference at all. But I'm just going to give the blade itself a thin coat of workshop wax to just protect it. And I can now reinstall the blade in the table saw. So let's now make a test cut and see if it's made any difference. The last time I made a cut using this piece of wood, it had lots of splinters on the end. So let's see if we've solved that problem. And that seems to have done the trick. There are no splinters whatsoever on this thin piece of pine. That's not particularly easy to see, but my bandsaw blade is also covered in crud and bits of sap, like here, and the edges of the teeth. So I'm going to take the blade off and give it the same treatment that I gave the table saw blade. The blade's a lot easier to handle folded up like this, and it's reasonably stable, so it won't flick out. So I'm going to clean it like this rather than as one loop. Well, it's not perfect, but it's certainly a lot cleaner. I love reading your comments, so please leave something below. I can now refit the blade and make sure everything's adjusted correctly. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I certainly feel a lot better now that the workshop is tidy, and I've learned something. I've learned that if I clean my blades, then it's like buying new blades. They're a lot sharper, and hopefully that's something that you can take away from this video as well. I've also talked about a few of the projects that I want to do next year, so look out for those, and if you haven't already, then please subscribe or you'll miss them. If you've got any questions or comments, then please leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer them. Thanks for watching.